start by introducing myself. Annabelle can introduce herself, and she'll introduce our lovely guest here, Jodie. But my name is Garrett Sauls. I'm the content manager for InterWorks. We're a data IT consulting company, big Tableau partners, Sigma, Snowflake, Databricks, etc. I've been here for about 14 years, so it's been crazy to see all the change that's been happening in the data world. I joke my job is like a corporate English teacher. I just get smart people to talk about the things in their brain and share knowledge with others, and that's why I'm here right now. So I'll kick it over to Annabelle, and she can give her introduction.
Absolutely. So a very warm welcome also from my side. My name is Annabelle Rincon. I'm joining from Switzerland, and it's always a pleasure to speak and host this webinar series with Garrett. So I have more than 20 years experience in data, and I have done many different things from data analyst to lead Tableau developer, Tableau enablement lead. And more recently, I'm serving as a self-service enablement and success lead for a reinsurance company. So, and all of this role have teach me that enablement is like the main is very, very important. It's very crucial for like the success of any IT deployment, or if you really want to grow the skill internally. So that's why we are doing that with Garrett and having fantastic speaker coming in. And today it's a great honor to have Jodie Rutland-Sayer with us. She is an enablement team lead for visualization at jet2.com and Jet2 Holidays. And to get you started, Jodie, and maybe introduce yourself a little bit better, I will give you like a first question. For the audience, what does an enablement team lead for visualization do? What are your daily activities?
Right. Oh, all sorts. I'm always very busy. So at Jet2, we've got a mixture of central delivery team for visualization and self-serve teams as well. So in the business, we've got so many analysts within different business teams. And the job of me as an enablement team lead is just to set out onboarding them, training if they need it, establishing the skills belt program, basically just enabling them to use the platforms, which we use Tableau for data visualization, enabling them to use those platforms and just get the best out of the data and present it to the stakeholders in the best way that they can so that the stakeholders can make the decisions off it, basically.
I like the way that you just said, like, I just do that. No, you are doing a lot. I am sure that you have a big impact also. Can you tell us the user base, how much user base that you have?
So we've got about 2,000 Tableau license holders, and we enable all of them. So whether they're viewers or explorers or creators, there's about 10% of that are creators. So we support everyone in that user base. Yeah. Going forward as well, I think when we were chatting last time, I was actually in a different team. I was in a data visualization team. And since then, Jet2 set up an enablement team, which specifically is focused on enablement. And we've got different platforms as well. So Snowflake's included in that. And me and the team that I work with have recently moved into that team. So we're doing a lot more collaborative work with the other enablement leads in that team and just making sure that everything's a bit more streamlined, consistent, and that users have got one place where they can get support. Just makes it a bit clearer for them.
Yeah, I think that you have probably a lot of benefits to have all the enablement people under the same team, because even to organize a data day, I think that it will be easier. Yeah, cool.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, we always worked very closely together. You know, they're a great team, but just actually being within the team has really made a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm curious, Jodie, what's been interesting or new about jumping into being part of the enablement team, and now and I know you probably served these users before, but learning Snowflake, serving more of the data architecture, data engineering side of things, in addition to the business users and the Tableau creators that you had supported prior. What's been the big shift there? Or anything that you've noticed as you've stepped into this role?
I wouldn't say there's been a big shift, no, because like I said, we did work very closely together. So we've always tried to keep all of our processes quite consistent. There's a lot of things that we're now able to do a lot better as a team. So things like we'd have users contacting different support inboxes, whether they were wanting help with Snowflake, if they'd go to one inbox, if they wanted help with Tableau, they'd go to another inbox. There's a Teams channel they can go to for different platforms as well. And one big thing that we've done since we've all moved together is have one place where those users can go to. So we've got an app now and called an analytical support app. And users can just go to that one link and they can send in a request, and then it gets triaged to go wherever it needs to go. So it'll go to the Snowflake expert or the Tableau expert or somewhere else. And we've got one Teams channel as well. So we can still tag different user groups in there so that we're targeting the right people. But it just means that it's a lot easier, hopefully, for colleagues to get that help because they've only got one place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What is that journey? Because that sounds like you all are, I mean, having an app, having a dedicated place, even just having a dedicated enablement team seems fairly mature if we're thinking of like enablement structures and enablement curves. And since you've been at Jet2 for quite some time, what's that journey been like, since you started, and how enablement has grown, and the different hats you've had to wear, and collaborating and getting people on board to kind of move progress forward. What's that journey been like for you, from start to where you're at now?
Yeah, long.
Long.
So yeah, I have been at Jet2 for quite a while, 16 years. So when I joined, I was in a product department. So I was doing things like putting together the portfolio for hotels and deciding where we might go to next, putting business cases together, all that kind of thing for new destinations and new product types that we might use and put on sale. So that was a very different role. I've never been in an IT role before, but I started using Tableau when I was in that role because I've always had an interest in processes and making things better for the team, be that with new technology or establishing new processes. So I've always had that and always worked to try and make things better for the team. So I think when Tableau came into Jet2, my boss at the time was like, oh, Jodie could do that. So I went on a training course for it with one other person in my department. And I really started making lots of reports for the team from it because I found it quite easy to use. So I started building reports. And at that point, because I'd been at the company for quite a while, I knew a lot of people. So I could go to analysts in different departments and ask them to help me, the people that could use Tableau. So if I needed help with anything, I could go to them. There was a data visualization team at that point, but it consisted of 2 people. So I also used them and went to them for help, and they helped me build my first dashboard. But I think at that point, that sort of planted the seed in that having people to go to for help is very important. And I was lucky because I've been there for quite a while, so I knew these people. But a lot of people that come in don't. And I think building a community so that people can meet other analysts and they know where they can go to get help, even a Teams channel, having that available for people to say, hey, does anyone know how I can do this calculation? Just having all of that, I think, is very important. And it was at that point that I sort of realized that. So when I moved into the central IT department, because I loved doing dashboards so much, that I moved in to do it full time. So there was 2 of us in the department then, and that was it. So my sort of journey to build the community at Jet2 started at that point. And that's when I started looking at things like skills belts, data days, building a Tableau Centre of Excellence, or a SharePoint site where people can go for help, all that kind of thing, and starting to do, yearly activities like festive sessions and training sessions every few months, things like that. So it kind of all started at that point. And then the team grew and grew, and there ended up being 10 of us. And then we split into delivery and enablement. And then I sort of obviously went down the enablement route because that was really where my passion was. So.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, that's an awesome story. For people who haven't done that, the jump from 2 to 10 might seem like not a lot, especially if you're in a big organization, but I know what it's like to be one of two, one of three marketing people, and now there's one of 8 and one of 9, and it's like, whoa, as you go from wearing all the hats to now you're like, oh, I can focus. I can go deeper into a certain thing, and that's just it's a totally different discipline, totally different thing that requires a lot of learning and shifting because you just get so used to filling in the gaps and doing everything. So
yeah.
Well, very cool. I'd love for you to show us some of the things that you're talking about, the skills belt, the day-to-days. I know you prepared a few slides, so let's talk about those more in depth.
I have, yeah. Let's share this then. So this slide just shows the kind of thing that we do to enable users. So I've just split this up into all users, which are the blue ones, and then just creators, which are the grey ones. So there's a lot that sort of spans across both user groups. So straight away, someone would get onboarded. So if they're a viewer, for example, then they would just get sent a PDF document, like a business guide on how to use Tableau, what kind of support's available for them, all the links to the next column, which is the support column. So all the links to these things that we can help them with. And if they're a creator, we do more one-to-one sessions. So they'll meet with someone from the enablement team and we'll actually talk through with them what we can offer. We'll introduce them to the Skills Belt program. But it also works both ways because we can find out what they're wanting to get out of Tableau as well. I mean, you may even find out that they don't actually need the license that they asked for at that point when they explain what they're actually using, because no matter how many questions you put on an application form for a license, some people you might not get all the information you need. So it's really important to have that, I think, to have that interaction with those users and actually speak to them and find out what they're going to be using it for. And then we have the Teams channel, and we've got the app, like I mentioned. We've got a SharePoint site. Something else we do is we have weekly drop-in sessions. So anyone can come along to those. They can book them using a form. And they can meet with us in the kitchen in the office, or we can do a virtual call if they're working from home, for example, or overseas. And they can come to us with any questions that they have. And that can be across multiple platforms as well. So they could be having an issue with connecting Snowflake data to Tableau. So they might need someone to help with both of those platforms. And then for training, we offer the Skills Belt program, which I'm really excited to show in a minute. We do some things like week-long campaigns sometimes. So earlier in the year, we did a connectivity week. So we focused on how to connect different types of data to Tableau. So that was a mixture of sort of drop-in sessions where people could ask questions. We did a bit of troubleshooting, some training sessions, and some things being pushed out via the Teams channel as well. We created new user guides for that as well, so that there was a specific guide for connecting different data. Then we have something called analytical show and tell sessions as well, which is something the enablement team had established before I moved into that team. And these are really good sessions because anyone can attend them, but they basically allow somebody to showcase what they've done with data. So we have a form where people around the business can submit their data wins if there's something they're really proud of. And then they can actually talk through it to an audience. So it could be that people from that business area come along and listen, or people from any area in the business. So it just gives them that platform to show what they've done. And then as a team, we do quarterly training sessions called Viz Clubs. So mostly for creators, sometimes web authors as well, where we pick a topic and we'll sort of train them on that. And then my favourite part is the events that we do. So we have Data Fest, which is our data day, which I'll talk through as well. sometimes do a Christmas quiz as well. We've done that a couple of years. And then Christmas tip battle as well, which was really good fun, where I dressed up as Father Christmas, and we had a bit of a Tableau tip battle with all the data visualization team, where they shared tips and the audience got to vote. So we invited the analytical community along to that to vote and enjoy that day. So it was really good fun. Here's some pictures just to demonstrate some of the activities. So there's me as Father Christmas. The top left one is like the drop-in session. Then we've got our Data Fest event, which we held last year over a couple of days. This is our SharePoint site. So we have learning resources on there, a bit of information about the platform where you can get your license, fill out the form. And we do tips every Tuesday as well. That goes down well. So each person on the team will take it in turns to post a Tableau tip on a Tuesday. And we also have a newsletter called Data Matters, where a few of us in different data teams will work together to put a newsletter together. And that goes out to everyone in the company, just showcasing data, basically.
I love that. I love, this is not related to enablement at all, but it's a branding marketing thing. I love that you have the airline seats for the booth.
Yeah.
It's a stroke of genius.
Yeah, they're very comfy.
Is your newsletter quarterly? Because that's what
yes, it is. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, it's very difficult to find like a good cadence for the newsletter. I always found is monthly too too recent, but you want still to get in touch. It's quite complicated always to try to find a good balance, but that probably works very well.
Yeah. And I think there's quite a few newsletters go out as well, from different areas. So you don't want it to be too often. So quarterly seems just about right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would like also to show some information about the Skills Belt program, if that's okay. And then, because I know when I was putting the Skills Belt program together, I did talk to a lot of the Tableau community, and I got a lot of help from different people on this. So if anybody's wanted to put together a Skills Belt program, I'd like to pay some of that back and share some of these slides just to help with that. So Skills Belt program basically is just a way of standardizing learning. So no matter whether you are a new analyst in the company or you've been there a while, everybody follows the same learning path. Now there's ways to miss bits out if you're experienced, but it just means that we just standardize it so we know that everybody gets the same. And this is even more exciting now. We have more skills belts because an analyst comes to Jet2 and they get to do skills belts for different platforms, and they all follow a similar format. So, they can follow that journey and tick off all the different belts for the different platforms. It's using gamification. So we try and make it a bit fun. So ours is a karate theme. I know if you're saying, if you're saving up coffee tokens, if you buy so many coffees, you get the 10th one free, or on Strava, if you do a run and you get a little gold medal for doing the run and doing it fastest, it's not an actual prize that you're getting. It's just a little thing on your app, but it just makes you feel good. You don't necessarily need a prize. It's that little badge that makes you feel like you've achieved something. So we try to do that as well, and people get a little badge when they get to a belt. And it's got a mixture of learning methods in it. So we've got e-learning, we've got webinars, we've got practical challenges. So there's a little bit for everyone. So no matter what your learning style is, it just mixes it up a bit and makes it more interesting.
Mm-hmm. I love that. A quick note on belts. Both of my boys are in Taekwondo. And so I can tell you the belt thing works even as early as age like 3 or 4. And adding to that, it's really funny, in addition to the normal belt levels that they go through, which they progress through them at about like a 1 to 2 month cadence. But you can also earn these little tape. It's like electrical tape that goes around the belt. So it's like a belt on a belt. There's like three little
Oh,
of them for, if you had a good attitude or you really hustled today or whatever it is. So just a statement to say that this type of gamification specifically works for people as young as 3 or 4. So there's just something in the human psychology, I
yeah,
think, baked in that it really
yeah.
works.
I like the idea of the little sub belts as well on the way.
Yeah.
You could
Yeah.
potentially do stuff like that and get, extra badges for doing certain things on the way to getting a belt, couldn't you? Yeah. And
And
interestingly, ours is called Tableau Kondo as well. You said your
Well,
kids
there you
do.
go.
do you have them also like, so I suppose that you have them like virtual badge, but do you have physical badges, like kind of
Yeah.
stickers?
Yeah. So on this, they have 2 levels that are compulsory, and then you can do some optional levels. And for the first level, it's mostly just an introduction to the platform and accepting the user policy, saying you won't share data outside the company, that kind of thing. So they just get an e-badge that they can put on their signature. But for the next one, yeah, you get a physical badge. So it's a pin. They're quite cheap to order. You don't have to. They don't cost a lot. So it was something we were able to do, and you can put it on your lanyard at work on your pass that you use. So they're a really nice touch. And we made some certificates that we printed off that we give with the badge. So it's like a little bit of a ceremony. We take a picture of the user when they've got their certificate and badge. And then we make, at the end of the year, we've done sort of a year in summary from the enablement team. And we have a gallery of all the people that have achieved their belts with all their pictures in. So it's just a really nice touch as well, just to shout about what they've achieved. And then they get badges if they advance onto the advanced and champion levels as well. So you can show off your brown badge or your black badge, and yeah.
I love that. I like this. I'm seeing the compulsory ones, the white and the yellow, and then the optional. Can you speak a little on the compulsory? It sounds like that is a really great way in terms of when you have only so many seats and so many people to give them to, there's a level of, I feel like, seriousness, or you have to earn a certain level. Is that kind of what drives the compulsory to set a standard to say, look, if you're using Tableau, we want to have some sort of benchmark for your skill level?
Yeah, definitely. And we have found that people sometimes request a license because they think they're going to use it. They don't really use it. We do check usage, but this is just that extra level. So if they're not willing to put some time in, and if you're experienced and there is a quick way to go through this, we've got some sort of assessments that you can skip most of the tasks, but they should be able to dedicate a bit of time to doing it. And if you're not, then you don't really need to use it. So it does give us that extra way of making sure that we're not giving out licenses when they're not needed, because they are a cost, aren't they? So it also is useful because for some of our dashboards and data sources, users can self-certify them. And we only say that you can do that if you reach this yellow belt level. So it's just making sure that they've got those fundamental skills and intermediate skills to be able to say that I'm capable of self-certifying my work.
That's great. That's gamified governance. I don't know if I've heard much on gamified governance, which that's exciting because governance is so important. So
yeah. Well, I've got a few examples of the things that we do for each level as well. So what I did was I built a Tableau workbook to put this in, obviously. So it's just built of horizontal containers. So each one's got the text of the task they need to do. And then on the right, there's a link with what you have to click on to action. So for the white belt, it's just watching an intro to Tableau video, reading the business guide that we have. And then we use the Tableau e-learning as part of this as well. So they do the first part of the e-learning, and then importantly attend an induction with us, so they can tick that off if they've attended, and then watch one of the newbies user groups, which are really great if you're starting out. So we ask that they sign up and watch one of those. And then on the right, you'll see that there's an option for if they've been using Tableau for a while. So that's just a form with 10 questions on that they just have to answer, and then, they can go straight through to the next level. So attend the induction and answer the questions if they're experienced. So they can go straight through to yellow belt level then. And then for yellow belt, there's quite a lot more on this level. So they have to get a bit more engaged with the enablement team. So attend at least one drop-in session, which are those ones that we have in the kitchen every week. Attend at least one training session as well, and do more of the e-learning. So there's another pathway that we ask them to do. And then the bit that we've had the most positive feedback on is they need to do a dashboard review. So they'll submit a dashboard that they've created for their department. We'll do a review on it. So we've got a checklist where we go through all the best practice guidelines. So we make sure we check that the filters all work, that the fonts are all, consistent, formatting's consistent, you haven't got one decimal place somewhere and 3 somewhere else, and all that kind of best practice stuff. We'll fill that out, and then we'll have a call with them, and we'll go through everything that we've seen. And our users have really benefited from that, because sometimes you create something and you don't see the detail on it if you've been looking at it for maybe days, weeks at a time. So this just gets another pair of eyes on it and helps them see some things that maybe they've not, looked for before. So then they can go away and make the changes, and then if it's all good, then it passes, and they can get their belt.
I'm taking note. I like what you said.
Yeah.
That gives me a lot of ideas.
Yeah. There's a form as well to bypass this one, but we do ask that they do attend the training and the drop-in session. It's just to bypass the e-learning if they are experienced. So even if you're experienced, you do need to do quite a bit to prove that you're experienced on this level, and engage with us as a team as well. And then if they want to move on to brown belt, this is a bit more e-learning, but also making over a dashboard. So if there's a dashboard in your team that has been around for quite a while, then we ask them to give it a makeover, submit that, and again, we don't do a full checklist on it like we did before, because they've already been through that process, but we just basically check one against the other. Yeah, they've definitely done improvements to it. And there's just attending more Viz clubs as well. So this can take a bit longer to achieve. So to get the first level, we give them 3 months. To get the second level, we give them a year. So they've got, because the Viz clubs are only every quarter, they might, it might be a while until they can attend one. So they have a year to do the second one. And then this brown belt one will take a little bit longer again, because you have to attend a few Viz clubs and complete some challenges as well, like Makeover Mondays or Workout Wednesdays, that kind of thing. And then as part of the brown belt, they also do the desktop foundations exam as well.
I'm peacefully waiting that you said that they have to attend like an analytic Tableau user group. I'm very quiet. I'm very jealous that. No, just kidding. Just kidding.
Then on the black belt, this is the last one. So this really is for those that want to be champions. So they want to help others, basically. So it's mentoring another analyst, helping out at these drop-in sessions. So these users can come along and help other users at the drop-in sessions, and then be a moderator for Skills Belt as well. So I see them as helping do those dashboard reviews and checking the makeovers as well. It'll help our team, but hopefully help the users as well. And then there's the other exam on this, so the analyst exam as part of the black belt. So we've had a few of the central team go through the black belts, none of the rest of the business yet, but there's some that are definitely on their way doing brown belts and achieving brown belts. So yeah, it's something that hopefully we shall see very soon.
Yeah. I love the arc of this, and that when you're starting out, it's a mix of get involved with community and do the self-development things. But it seems the further you get on, the more community oriented it becomes, right? The more
Yeah.
it is oriented towards mentorship and being a part of that, not just attending the community, but playing an active role in being a mentor or whatever
Yeah.
it may be. So I really like that progression of how it starts to shift more to that towards the end.
Yeah. And it's optional as well. So some people will want to do that and they don't, they don't have to. So
but it's very good for learning. Usually when you teach someone else, you're also learning yourself. Or you are confront, like for instance, you are in finance and you are helping like a marketing person. You will learn a lot because you are not exposed to this kind of business case that, because you're in finance. So different business case, different way of representing data. And so you're exposed to new problem, and it's usually a very, very good way to learn.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We have a question in the chat from David Sharples, and he's asking, Jodie, for all the elements you have mentioned, like Teams Chat, Skills Belt, which one do you think has had the biggest impact on Jet 2?
I would say the Skills Belt, mainly because it just, when you start in a new role and you're, say you're an analyst and you've just joined the company, you've got so much to learn about the company. You go in and sitting with different departments, and then you're also maybe learning this tool for the first time. This Skills Belt just gives those people a set learning path that they can follow, and they can do it in their own time. So when they want a little bit of time at their desk away from chatting to other people, they can just go online and take part in the Skills Belt program. And I think it's really helped all those new starters in particular.
Yeah, great answer. That makes sense. In covering, and when you have a presentation on an entire section of the skills belt, usually that's telling, right? That's this is an impactful thing for sure. But no, but that's important. There's a lot of different tools that serve a lot of different things. But yeah, that one certainly seems to be the one that, in your experience and in Annabelle and I chatting with other enablement professionals, that seems to be the one that really gets people invested and involved and feeds all the other things that you're doing, right? The entire ecosystem.
Yeah. I mean, the Data Fest event that we did as well was huge, and it gave us that platform to reach out to other areas of the business and show them what we're doing as a data department. So that a couple of years ago when we started that was a major event and very exciting for everyone in the data teams to be holding that finally after a long time in progress.
And I'm sure, Jodie, that you have like a dashboard to track the skill belt program. Because I said that because I used to have one myself.
Yeah, we definitely do. Yeah. And now we've got other skills belts as well. We're working on aligning them all so we can track them all at the same time and have that one view of a user going through their analytical journey. So that's something that we're working on at the moment, which will be really exciting.
Absolutely. And you were talking about this data day. It's like like a Christmas event or data festival, these kind of things. It's probably a lot to organize. And do you want to tell us how you do that? Give some tips, maybe?
Yeah, so started a couple of years ago, and we had a team. There was about a few of us from different data teams joined together. And I think it took about 5 or 6 months to organize. So we started out, meeting maybe April time, and the event was in October. I was looking after communications. Someone else was looking after budget. Someone else was doing, the merchandising. So we had different roles within it. And we put together a plan. I'll share another slide actually because I've got one ready here.
Oh, you have a slide.
We put together this plan. So we had a keynote in the morning, which is where we invited senior management and MI analytical managers, where our director gave a talk about data, how it was important at Jet2. And then we'd invited a few vendors, external vendors, in to do talks as well. So we had Tableau and Snowflake there. And then we had a panel discussion, which was one of my favourite parts personally, where we had the directors and the external speakers that the audience could ask questions to, and they talked a lot about data and how it was important to them. Then we had a big event down in the atrium where we had the platform providers holding stalls. We had different stalls for places from throughout the business. So we have a Women in Tech initiative at Jet2, so they had a stand. We had the HR department there. We had governance with a stand, and then the enablement team had a stand where we could showcase the skills belts. And we just made it really fun in that space because the morning session was quite serious. So down in the expo session, there were selfie boards and people going around taking pictures that we could then put in the newsletter. There was lots of free stuff, stickers, pens, that kind of thing that we branded. So that was a really good event. And that was the bit that was open to everybody. So it was right at the entrance to the head office, so anyone coming down in the lifts that was going on lunch could see it going on. They were like, come in, and it got people that probably wouldn't have thought to go to a data event to go and to find out a bit more about it, and the vendors could showcase what they can do, so it just gave that opportunity for that visibility really. And then in the afternoon, we had some breakout sessions. So we had, I mentioned earlier about those data wins that people can submit if they've achieved something. This was an opportunity for them to present. So we had some really fantastic speakers from different departments in the business that spoke about things that they'd done. And then everyone that wanted to attend those could attend them. And then afterwards, of course, the compulsory networking and social event afterwards, which just finished off the day really nicely. So that was year one, and it was so successful that then in year two, it got bigger and better. So we split it over 2 days in year two. So the first day was focused on the analytical community. So the kind of things that we'd done in the afternoon on the first year's Data Fest event, we just gave a whole day to the analytical community. So we had technical showcases, we had some practical labs as well where people could learn. And then there was an evening event that was hosted for the local data community as well. And then on day two, this was for everyone, all colleagues, and this followed a similar format to year one. So we had that keynote, we had the expo event again, and the business showcases in the afternoon that were more, so that's similar to the day one showcases, but they were more geared towards the wider audience. So they used, more business language in there rather than technical language. And then there was the networking social event again, of course. So that was year two, much bigger. That was last year. I was tired out by the end of it, but it was a brilliant event. And we're looking forward to this year's event, which is in the process of being organised at the moment.
Mm-hmm. It will be 3 days? No.
No, it's not. It is 2 days, but it's a slight changing theme this year as well, because with the focus of AI, we are changing the theme to be AI Fest this year, so that we're focusing on, all the opportunities with AI, but with data at the heart of it. So it's still very much data foundations, and we can focus on that, but it's called AI Fest. So that's very exciting. And I think as the years go on, it might change even more as new technology comes in and business focus changes. But we've got that basis for a really good event, and hopefully it continues for many years. Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you, Jodie. One is from Roy Ruddle, which I'll ask because it's more of a zoom out question. But the first is, obviously, in planning these data days, that's quite the endeavor, right? To plan, to get the buy-in. What was that like in terms of convincing leadership to say, hey, what if we did this? What was that journey like to build enough trust and to get all those logistics sorted for them to say yes?
Well, we were very lucky that we had a director that was very, loved data and was really pushing for the event. So we got, obviously their buy-in, and then that helps to get other people's buy-ins. So yeah, just lots of communication, basically. So we put together some presentations on what the day would entail, who were the target audiences, what would be the benefit of holding this, and just made sure that went out to them as well. So the director in question was the one that sent that out to all the others. So yeah, this is happening, get excited about it, put it in their diaries, particularly promoted the morning session, which was one that senior stakeholders could attend themselves. And we had some really positive feedback. So obviously it's important to try and get feedback after an event or any kind of activity that we do. So we sent out a survey afterwards, and a lot of people, said it was great to see these tools because they just hadn't had the visibility of them before. So it was that great place to showcase them.
Yeah, that's great. Having that kind of stakeholder buy-in early on, someone to champion that at that level makes all the difference. I mean, that's awesome. That's awesome that you have it. We've seen the difference that makes.
Yeah.
So Roy Rodel's question was, Jodie, I'm really impressed by what you're doing. How much time has it taken to establish the different components you've talked about? With hindsight, what are the priorities, or what would you consider the greatest benefit? How would you shift those priorities, knowing what you know now, I think is what Roy's asking.
So I've been in the central team for 6 years, I think now. And the main priority at first was to get the Skills Belt program up and running. The Data Fest event didn't happen till 2 years ago, so that was a bit of a lower priority. I think we needed to establish those core skills, fundamental skills with the analysts first, and just try and introduce ourselves to them as an enablement team. So to do that, we had the Centre of Excellence that we built on the SharePoint site, introduced the quarterly Viz Club training sessions. So all that was done first off straight away. So the Skills Belt took a couple of years, to build, and not that I was working on it full time, don't get me wrong, it didn't take that long, but just with doing other stuff as well, it took a while to launch. So definitely the first things were making that hub of a place to store resources and guides where people can go to is one of the first things I'd say, and having that ability for people to contact you and get messages out to them as well. So having the Teams channel or whatever other platform channel you can use for a way of communicating with colleagues.
Yeah.
When you start this kind of channel, team channel, how do you make sure that people start the conversation? Because when it's already well established and you have a community, it's easier. But the first message, sometimes it's difficult to come.
It's still difficult now trying to get people to put stuff on there. It really is. And we try and encourage people. So if somebody's messaging the support inbox, I mean, we've got the app now, but we had an inbox before. If they're messaging the inbox and it's something that could be useful for other users, and we know and we have that relationship with that person, then we can ask, would you mind popping this as a question on the Teams channel, because this, will be really useful for other people. We'll answer it straight away, and just try and encourage it that way. But it is hard, and we don't get an awful lot of people putting questions on there, to be honest, because a lot of the time you don't want other people to see what you're asking, because you don't want to seem like you don't know what you're talking about. But it's so useful to have other people seeing the answers to things. So as a central team, we try and do it ourselves. So we, the data viz delivery team might pop questions on there sometimes as well, just to try and encourage it. But yeah, it's hard.
I like that. This is a question from Joanna, and I think she might be asking, are you hiring? But she says, the analytical community sounds really encouraging and a good place to work. With the head office in Leeds, are there other locations around the UK where staff are located, or is it 100% of the workforce going into the Leeds office? What's that distribution like?
So the head office is the main place, but we have a lot of home workers as well. We have an office at the airport. So that's where Jet2 originated from. It had the office at the airport. So there's one there. There's also obviously all the airports as well, where we have our staff in the UK and overseas as well. So they can be all over Europe as well. So we have people that are in resort helpers, customer helpers, messaging because they need access to a dashboard. Or we might have someone at the airport that's working on-time performance reporting. Or we might have somebody down at Stansted that's dealing with the ground operations. So there's a major mix of different types of colleagues in different areas of the business, in different areas as well of the country and Europe.
And in that case of the data phase, for instance, because not everyone can travel to Leeds to attend, do you have like an hybrid version of it or?
Yes, we do. Yeah. So the whole event is broadcast live, so everybody can join via Teams. And last year we have a big office for technology in India as well. And last year we even had some of our colleagues from India presenting via Teams. So we had them presenting some of the technical showcases from India via Teams to the big conference suite that we have in the head office. So that was really exciting and that worked really, really well. So yeah, we broadcast them so everybody, no matter where they work, can take part.
Mm-hmm. This is a question from an anonymous attendee, quite mysterious. What was your audience size for the keynote, and what size of group did you find worked best for breakout sessions?
So the keynote, the room that we use for it is about 200 capacity. So I think we filled it as well. So we had that, but obviously a lot of others attended virtually as well. So we had hundreds attending virtually. So everyone within the business could watch it. What was the second part of the question, sorry?
Like the size of breakout sessions. Was there kind of a magic number that you found worked really well for breakout sessions, or was it more like, whoever wants to attend these we'll fill the room?
Yeah, so the breakout sessions were smaller. So they were held in different meeting rooms around the head office. So about between sort of 10 and 20 they seat. And that's really the ideal number of people because we wanted it to be small enough that we could go around and if somebody needed support with doing something, we could help them rather than it just being a big group of people watching somebody do something. So they were slightly differently set up, and they were not virtual because we wanted the in-person interactivity there, so that we could be there in the room with them and assist.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense on size. Yeah, you get too large and it defeats the entire purpose of breakout session. Well, we are about 5 minutes in from kind of the end time. So if anyone in the audience wants to get their final questions in, do so now. Certainly, I'm curious, Jodie. You'd already kind of alluded to it, but you're learning Snowflake. What's on the horizon for you and Jet2 in terms of what's next, what you're planning, what you're doing? Maybe that's personally, maybe that's organizationally. What's on the horizon?
Yeah, so because we've joined the enablement team now, so the Tableau team have joined the enablement team, a lot of what we're trying to do next is just consolidate all of our data. So we're trying to get all of our feedback data for all the different sessions into Snowflake, and then we've got it all in one place. Also trying to, and we've done a lot of this already, even though we've only been in the team for a short amount of time, but trying to get that one place where users can get support. So that's been a big thing we've been working on, but just to continue with that, really, just making sure that we all work together and we've got this standard practices for people that are joining and people that we're supporting. Then I guess other things that we're working on, the AI Fest event that's coming up, that's a big one. A lot of us don't know enough about AI and all the things that are out there and the different platforms. So there's going to be a lot of we don't have to be experts to run the event, but definitely need to have some knowledge in it. So We'll definitely be focusing and watching some webinars on AI and trying to upskill with different platforms in that, definitely. Also wanting to try and get a viewer's skills belt launched, though it'd be more of a skills belt pathway rather than a program, so like a mini skills belt. Because if people are joining, having a Tableau license as a viewer, they have that PDF guide, but it'd be nice to have some form of interactive onboarding as well. So we have a e-learning in-house that we can put that on. So we're hoping to do that as well. And then even viewers have got a little skills back pathway that they can complete. So
Yeah. I love that. I love that even the viewers get get something. It's just casting a wider net, being more inclusive towards that. And I mean, quite honestly, just improving data literacy efforts from people who aren't maybe not the more technical oriented folks, right? Maybe it's the executive class, maybe it's the management class of people within the organization
yeah.
who can run through that and get a lot of benefit from it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And one of the other leads in my enablement team is actually working on an AI literacy program. And so we can link everything together and yeah, everybody should have access to this information and be able to learn going forward. So it's really exciting time.
Yeah, that's great. What
And
a
I think
model.
it's good that you have a viewer self-learning path, because often people, okay, and especially if they are higher in the hierarchy, maybe they don't know how to interact with a dashboard, but they don't dare to ask, and
Yeah.
they cannot attend like the creator path self-learning, because of course it makes no sense for them. But if you have one, they will quietly like go through and try to understand that strategy.
Yeah, just simple things like, there's these filters you can use if you want to drill down, set up subscriptions, how to do that. It's all in the document, but it's a long document to read, and if you had a pathway, I think people would get a lot more out of it.
I don't know if you remember, there were like an escape room dashboard in Tableau Public. I often use it for viewer training.
Yeah. It was great that we did something similar in the first Data Vest event. All the data visualization delivery team created some escape room dashboards, and we had those in the expo event that everyone could just come along and have a play with. So yeah, it was a really nice way of introducing them to Tableau.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's great. One question we had that I had mentioned I'd ask you. Someone had mentioned if you would be willing to share the PowerPoint deck along with the recording that you had shared. Is that something you're open to? I mean, I'm sure we went through a lot of it in the recording, so there is that, but yeah, they were just asking if that was something you had available.
But yeah, of course, definitely. I mean, you can message me on LinkedIn and I can send it, or I can send it on to you, Garrett, and you can send it out, whichever.
Great.
Yeah, that's fine.
Greatly appreciated. Well,
Yeah,
go
we
ahead,
noticed
Annabelle.
today that Garrett, you are not speaking too much because
I know it's starting
prize.
to degrade.
Mine's lasted. I'm
Yeah,
happy.
yeah.
I was me and Garrett were losing our voice today. Not good, is it?
No, you did both a great job.
Okay.
Oh, you as well. You as well. Well, yeah. Well, we're at time. Annabelle, is there anything else we should ask Jodie? Jodie, is there anything else that you want to share? Any other nuggets of wisdom that maybe we didn't cover in the course of things?
No, just like I just love enablement, and I think it's so important. And I think we just, as companies grow and get bigger, and departments get bigger, it's just keep that personalization touch, have that contact with colleagues around the business. I think it's very important, and just keep that going, because it makes the person that's working for you feel like they're welcome and they've got somewhere to turn to if they need help, and they're not sat there struggling on their own. So just try and be approachable, have all that resources available to them. And if they contact you on the Teams channel, fingers crossed, try and get back to them and help them. And that should encourage others as well.
Yeah, I think that's great advice, especially as you grow in your maturity and grow in the number of people you're working with to never lose that personal touch. Fantastic advice. Um, with that, I'll say thank you so much for joining and sharing your knowledge. As much as you love sharing that enablement, we love hearing it. We love being a part of it. So thanks for being part of that conversation. Good luck with the puppy. I know that'll be a whole new adventure. Again, we demand updates. We demand we demand photos. But for all the attendees, thanks for tuning in. This recording will be emailed out in the next few days, so that'll be available for you or for anyone in your organizations who maybe weren't able to make it live. But yeah, thanks so much, Jodie.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been great to be here.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
See you next time.